It's a tradition that started at London's Wimbledon Speedway in 1930. International speedway bike tests between England and Australia have always attracted huge crowds and produced uncompromising racing. On Castrol Speed Machine, we take you trackside to the Sydney Showground Speedway for solo super test number 1. Australia and England locking handlebars at 150 kilometres per hour. Yes, indeed, nice to have your company wherever you might be watching right around Australia. I'm David Tapp, and a very warm welcome to the Sydney Showground Speedway Royale, without question the nation's most famous speedway venue. The meeting, the all-important first test between the Kangaroos and the British Lions. The man charged with the responsibility of leading the Kangaroos tonight is back-to-back national champion Lee Adams. A special atmosphere here at the venue.
Yeah, certainly, David. It's fantastic. There's a good crowd now. I think it's going to be fantastic. I just hope the boys can turn it on, which I'm quite sure we can. We're all pretty hyped up and we just want to get out there and let loose, so should be good.
Lee, you've just walked around the racetrack with the entire team. How's it looking?
It looks very good, yeah. There's a few little grippy patches, which should be a little bit more exciting, but all in all, I think it should be fantastic. You know, it's deep in tradition. It's just going to be a great night. It's 4 riders around here. It's just going to look so spectacular. So, yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Good
luck to you and the Kangaroo teams. Joining us all the way from England tonight, the man that will be leading the British Lions in what will be a very significant test match is reigning World Under-21 champion Joe Screen. A big opportunity for you and the team here tonight.
Yeah, we all got fired up last night. I went to bed early and we're all firing on all fours, and just hope we can pull a win off in the first test.
You've had a fabulous 12 months. Many of the experts in World Speedway are describing you as one of the finest young talents to emerge in recent years. How do you handle raps like that? Does it put you under pressure?
Not really. You're trying to put it back your mind. You go out to win, and that's what I try and do, and I've had success in my speedway career.
Well, sitting in the famous Sydney Showground pitch, looking a little pensive as Stephen Davies, reserve for tonight's first test. Are you a little disappointed about that?
Not really. It's a good feeling being reserve. It's always handy to have a good reserve. The hardest thing is coming in after a few guys have had a few races, and you get a little bit nervous sitting around waiting, and hopefully I can do a good job for the team tonight.
You've had a lot of international experience, and you've been one of Australians' modern greats, if you like, in the last decade. 3 New South Wales championships, runner-up in the national title. So you're not a bundle of nerves. You've been here and done all this before, haven't you?
Yeah, in a way it's good to get nervous. It keeps you on your toes. When you're too laid back, you're not concentrating properly. So, yeah, I don't mind being nervous, and it's all part of the game, really.
Stephen, this English team, a lot of people have been writing them off. They're a lot better than they would seem, aren't they?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people haven't really seen them ride in England. I've seen them all ride, and they look pretty fast here yesterday at the press day. And I've seen them all go well in England. They wouldn't be here if they weren't good riders, and I think they've put together a pretty good team.
Can we beat them?
I think so. I think the experience that we've got here with all the young blokes, it's looking though we've put together a pretty good team, and I think we can give them a good run tonight, and hopefully there's a good crowd here to witness it.
We're riding at number 6 tonight for the Kangaroos at the Sydney Showground is a guy that's had a lot of experience, Mick Poole, former New South Wales champion. This is a very big opportunity for Speedway.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a great meeting. Hopefully there's a big crowd here, and it's always every young guy's ambition to ride at the Sydney Showground, so I think most of the boys are looking forward to it.
A lot of the old timers describe this venue as dangerous. Is that the way it is?
Depends how you ride it, I guess. It is very narrow and very fast. For the speed you're going, you need a little bit more room, but if you use your head and the other boys use their head, it's not too bad, but there is a bit of danger there.
How tough is this British Lions team going to be?
I think they're very underestimated. They got 3 world finalists in there, and a couple of young guys that really want to do well over here, and I think they're a really good side actually.
Well, riding at number 5 for the Kangaroos is Craig Boyce, back-to-back New South Wales championship victories recently. The right form for this?
Yeah, I've hit a bit of good form at the moment. I won the New South Wales finals last week. Bike's going good. Practice the other day, things went well, so hopefully we can give these guys a flogging tonight.
That's what it's all about. In real terms, can you do that? They're an underestimated team, aren't they?
They're a very underrated team, but I've ridden with each and every one of these guys in England, and they're a very strong team. They're a young team, and they're keen, and I think we're going to have a hard job. But then again, we've got a young, keen team as well, so I think we'll be on par.
If you were to try and identify a possible weak link in the British team, can you do that?
I think maybe Ben Howard, but he's only reserved, so other than that, all the boys are goers. Whoever makes a start, I think it'll be hard passing any of them.
Okay, now helping Craig Boyce in the pits tonight, good luck to you, Craig, is the man that finished third in the 1990 World Championship at Bradford in England, Todd Wiltshire. You know a lot about this kind of thing, a lot of experience in test matches.
Yes, it's a very hard match tonight. I'm just reading the program and it goes back a long way, this match series, and very important for the boys to do well here tonight in front of their home crowd, and tell you what, they've got their hands full, this team, that's for sure.
When you retired from racing, Craig Boyce was very quick to claim you as his helper. Obviously, he holds you in with a great deal of respect. And I know that, for example, when he won his recent New South Wales Championship, he just couldn't speak highly enough of the help that you gave him. What are you actually going to be talking to Boyce about tonight in the pits?
Well, every little bit of helping hand is good for the riders. I had the same situation with myself in England, the World Championships. I had a bloke called Neil Ivetts in the pits with me, and you just sort of more or less give them a helping hand, let them know how important this is, because it's easy for your mind to slip and go somewhere else during the meeting, and and give the mechanics little tips here and there just to keep Greg's bikes running smoothly.
You've had a walk around the racetrack along with the Australian team. What are your impressions of the famous Sydney Showground?
Well, at the moment it's looking a bit grippy for the guys, so it's going to be quite exciting for the crowd, and I think the professionalism of these guys will really put on a great show, and I think there'll be some fast times.
Australia to win?
For Australia to win, yeah, I'm biased for sure, but yeah, it's going to be a hard match. The English team is quite young and some very aggressive riders there, but I think we can match them.
Well, Queenslander Tony Langdon, I know you behaved on New Year's Eve because I spent a bit of time with you. Butterflies, are you nervous about tonight?
Yeah, I think everybody's a little nervous. You know, this is the first test, so it's a very important meet and it's a great honour to ride for Australia. So, yeah, the butterflies are going around a little bit. I guess I'll get a little bit more closer to the start, but no, we're pretty cool at the moment, so see what happens.
It must be one of the most significant meetings of your career.
Yeah, I've ridden for Australia on a few occasions, but this will probably be one of the biggest crowds I've ridden in front of. You know, we're hoping for a big crowd here tonight, so yeah, it should be a real special occasion for me.
Tony, what are your impressions of this English side? They've been, in many ways, copying a bagging by the Australian media. The so-called experts have written them off and believe they're a second-rate side. Would you go along with that?
No, not really. You know, it's a very young team, you know. There's a bit of experience with Scoey and Andy Smith and Paul Thorpe and that, but the rest of the guys are real young. They're very hard, very aggressive and that. So, yeah, it's a pretty well balanced outside. It's going to be tough for us. You know, there's no easy races, so we'll have to wait and see.
Are you prepared to predict the point score at the end of 18 heats?
No, I'm not one for predictions. So I just hope the Aussies come out on top. We'll be trying.
Well, a very important night for young Jason Crump. Firstly, at just 18 years of age, obviously the youngest member of the Kangaroo team. And it's also the first time you've ridden for Australia in Australia. You're feeling the nerves at the moment?
Oh, it's just normal to feel nerves, but you know, when I look outside and see how many people are here, I get a few extra butterflies. But you know, I don't really know whether it's nerves or excitement because I'm just really looking forward to racing tonight.
At the press day a couple of days ago, as an outsider, just sitting on the hill there watching you race around the circuit, it didn't seem to take you very long to come to terms with it. You looked pretty good out there.
Yeah, on practice day the track was a little bit slicker than what most of us would have liked, I think, and but it looks like tonight it's got a bit of dirt down and it should prove a good racing strip.
You spent a lot of time racing in Europe and England. Tell me your impressions of this English side.
Yeah, they're a very good side. You know, they've got a lot of strength in depth, and it's possibly one of the best English sides that has ever come to Australia on tour. But you know, there's nobody there that we can't beat, and you know, with the Australian crowd behind us, I'm sure we'll give it our best shot.
Well, Steve Schofield, you've been riding Speedway for a long, long time now. You've competed at most Speedways around the world. It's your first time here at the famous Sydney Showground, though.
Yeah, it's the first time here tonight. It's a lot different what we're used to, but I'm sure the racing will be nice and entertaining for the fans, and let's hope it's a good match. Just
how difficult is it for you to make the transition to a very big racetrack like this? It's no secret that the circuits in Europe and England are predominantly around 300, 350 metres. This is a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, this is a lot bigger. It's good to ride the big tracks. I don't mind the big tracks, you know, when I'm doing well, but when you're doing bad, it's not that good. But yeah, it's quite. Sometimes it's quite difficult to sort of adapt, especially if you're used to riding a little sort of postage stamp sort of track, you know, and you come to something like this, it's a lot of difference, you know.
This is your fifth assignment down under in test match riding. How would you rate this team compared to others in the past?
Yes, it's a good team all the way through. You know, we've got a lot of triers, you know, not sort of. I suppose they're sort of more fighters than, how can I say, like trappers really. So but hopefully you're all trapping tonight, because I think it's a track where you've got to be making the start and getting to that first corner. And because everyone is so good now, you know, particularly the Aussies, they've got a good team. And I think it'll be quite a good match.
Well, I'm now with Sean Wilson, who I saw ride in Australia last year. You were taking part in that rest of the world team. Tonight's a very different proposition, though. This is real Speedway. Australia versus England at the Sydney Showground, our most famous Speedway by a long way.
Yeah, you know, it's like such an experience to ride here, and to be like involved with like the England team's good, because I did like a few years ago when I was 18. We come over here and like the last official test I was running, it was like it's a lot different to when you're doing it for like the rest of the world. There's like not as much at stake. So tonight it should be a fabulous meeting. It's a fabulous venue, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
A lot of people have been saying, Sean, that the English side may struggle a bit on a bigger track because obviously there's not that many big tracks around Europe and the UK. Do you see that being a difficult transition or not?
No, no. It's like anything else. It's like we have like lads who are in the team now, like Scully and Joe and stuff. They all do a long track. Paul loves a big track. I love a big track. You know what I mean? And I can't see we having any trouble. You know, we've got two of the lads like Dave and Ben. They haven't ridden out here like at all, and like. The Australians are a different kettle of fish over here when they ride. Like they're very, very good on their own tracks, and like they're very good on our tracks. But especially when you get them on their own ground, they're like different riders again. So it's going to be very hard. But I think we've got the team spirit and we've got the will to win. And let's just hope we come out on top.
Can you beat them?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, for Andy Smith, it's been a remarkable few months. You won the British final. You had a very good season back home, but also a very difficult injury, which you sustained a fortnight before the World Final at Pocking in Germany. Just explain a bit about that injury.
I had a crash with my teammate Sean Wilson in the first corner, and the handlebar or lifting handle stabbed me in the groin, and I lost 3 pints of blood in seconds. I thought I was going to die the way the blood was coming out.
Yeah, and as I already mentioned, that was just 2 weeks before the World Final, and I know the world of Speedway was stunned that you could even possibly attempt to get back to Pocking and ride in the World Final, but you did a fairly good job.
Yeah, they all wrote me off. I was in intensive care for 2 days. And as soon as I got out there, started walking again, and I went home the next day. I was just determined to get to the World Final. All
right, tonight signifies the start of your 6th consecutive tour down under. How do you rate this English side that have come out to our shores?
I think it's a really good side. I think we can do well. The Australians have got, the last couple of years, they've got some good riders now. They've got a strong team.
So can you beat them?
I hope so.
Well, David Landy is standing in the centre of Australia's most famous speedway venue. You're the man at the reins tonight, at the helm, and obviously the man that has brought legitimate international speedway back to this great venue. It must be a real buzz for you.
Yes, it is, Dave. I'm very excited. This is probably the biggest promotion we've ever done, and I think an England versus Australia test match at this venue really could bring motorbikes back to Sydney.
Do you see this as the start of big things? I have heard rumours, for example, that we may be actually privileged to see more than one show a year at this venue, perhaps starting in 1994.
I really can't comment on that. There'll definitely be one a year. All I could really say is we're trying very hard.
It must have been a little disappointing to you in terms of this English side. They have copped the proverbial caning in the press, with the so-called experts saying they are a very ordinary team. In fact, they're a lot better than that, aren't they?
They're a lot better. In fact, those so-called experts in about 3 hours, I think, will be embarrassed. I think Joe Screen, the way he went round here on Thursday was, I don't think Jim Airy got any closer to the fence than he did. I think they're a very strong team. In fact, I'm tipping them to win.
Well, Steve, you started calling Speedway at the Sydney Showground in 1960. It must be very special for you to walk back onto the centre green here tonight.
Yes, a little older and wiser, but it's also, yes, it's not so much nostalgic. For the last 7 or 8 years, most of the once a year meetings here have been virtually looking back at the glory days, and tonight's exciting because it's opening a new chapter. I mean, this particular place has tradition, it has prestige, it has a past, but I think it also has a future. And tonight, instead of parents sitting in the stand and telling their kids what it used to be like, the kids can see for themselves the potential of the place.
Many thousands of spectators here at the Sydney Showground Royale, bathed in sunshine. As you can see, some clouds in the background there out towards the west, and there is some rain predicted later on for tonight. Let's certainly hope that doesn't eventuate as we look forward to the countdown now of this 60th anniversary solo test match between Australia and, of course, England. Now coming onto the racetrack here at the Sydney Showground are the visiting British Lions side. This is the first test of 5 to be conducted over the next 5 weeks in the country. The captain of the English side, you've already seen him tonight, Joe Screen, reigning world under-21 solo champion, had a superb season back in England, particularly strong in events like the overseas final, and he's a fellow that can serve it right up to the Aussies tonight, just as he serves it up to guys like Sam Ermolenko and, of course, Hans Nielsen, simply the world's best riders. The crowd are very generous in their applause for the British Lions. A good side. They really have been underestimated. When you look through the ranks, guys like Andy Smith, a world finalist, Sean Wilson, a very experienced rider for Bradford in the British League, a cheeky little guy who'll give the Aussies plenty of stick tonight. I've already mentioned the credentials of Joe Screen. Stevie Schofield, now around 35 years of age, the wily old veteran, still riding with the vigour of a 21-year-old. The crowd really behind this English side, and now the Aussies make their way onto the Sydney Showground venue, and they are really getting a very big applause, as you can imagine. The team captain is, of course, Lee Adams, who's already won back-to-back Australian championships, will contest his third, or try and win his third, next month at the Mildura circuit. A great side, the Aussies: Lee Adams, Craig Boyce, obviously Stephen Davies, a very strong reserve, Mick Poole. Lots of them have had tons of British League experience in Division 1 and Division 2, and plenty of international test match racing under their belt. There's Mick Poole with the long blonde golden locks on the back of the Suzuki vehicle, and the crowd are really getting behind the Kangaroo team as we now count towards the start of this all-important test match. Another very prominent member of the Aussie squad tonight is Jason Lyons, who also hails from Mildura, the hometown of Lee Adams, our reigning national champion and captain for tonight's test match series. And let's not for one moment overlook the contribution of Jason Crump tonight. He'll make plenty of points and ride very well. He's the son of a gun, the son of former 4 times national champion Phil Crump, and Jason Crump is regarded as the finest young speedway rider in the world today. At just 18 years of age, he rides for Swindon in Division 2 in the British League, rode for Peterborough prior to that, and he's looking forward to stepping up to Division 1 in 1994, possibly with Poole, but we'll wait and see what happens there. Craig Boyce, of course, is the captain of Poole in the British League, and Boyce will be electrifying on this big, fast showground circuit tonight. I've got to say it, I can't remember being this excited about a speedway event for a long, long time. There is nothing like the Sydney Showground for nostalgia and atmosphere, and the boys have done a superb job preparing the racetrack for tonight's test racing activities. The Aussies now on the centre green, so too are the English side, and the national anthems of both teams are now coming your way. The English riders, a study of concentration, and now for the Australian national anthem. Listen to the roar from the crowd. They are pumped up. So too are the teams contesting tonight's test match. Let's go trackside to Steve Raymond for the all-important tossing of the coin.
No, it's got a kangaroo on the other side. You do the toss, you do the call.
Oh, well done. You've lost.
Well done, says Eric. We've lost. Australia gets to choose tonight or positions 2 and 4.
We're going to take 1 and 3 out there.
1 and 3, safety and success tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, wish them all safety and success.
Crowd at the Sydney Showground now starting to build for this first test between Australia and the British Lions, a very significant test match indeed. The first one between the two nations conducted at this venue since 1978. The Australian team looks this way. Lee Adams captain, Tony Langdon from Queensland, Jason Lyons, Jason Crump, Craig Boyce reigning New South Wales champion, Mick Poole, Stephen Davies the reserve, and what a classic rider he is, and also Neil Street the team manager. Sean Wilson, David Norris, Joe Screen the captain of the English side, Steve Schofield, a great talent there, Andy Smith, Paul Thorpe, Ben Howe the reserve, and the manager of that team, the legendary Eric Bootcock. For those of you watching the program, that is certainly a name you will remember from the late 60s and early 70s. The racing format, 18 3-lap heats, all of which will be a gate start. Points allocated on a 3-2-1 basis for first, second and third. And the first heat in this solo super test is now coming your way. And these Speedway solo bikes certainly produce plenty of horsepower. They're 500cc capacity. They don't have brakes, only a clutch to get away from the line. Single cylinder, running on methanol fuel with a caster base oil. Heat 1 sees Lee Adams, the Aussie captain, in red, Tony Langdon from Queensland in blue, Sean Wilson in white from Bradford in England, and on the extreme outside, it's David Norris in the yellow-black helmet colour. The tapes now fly, the first heat of 18 underway, and it's Captain Courageous, Lee Adams in the red helmet colour. He got an outstanding start, goes down the back section, a clear-cut race leader. He's in front of Sean Wilson, the Englishman, who is about 10 metres now off the pace of Lee Adams. Adams keeps it nice and tight as he heads down on the low line here at the showground. Tony Langdon, the Queenslander, is up running third, so the Aussies are first and third with a possible 4 points at the moment. Sean Wilson is separating them. He rides for Bradford in the British League. Wilson, a most unusual style. He gets right over the top of the motorcycle. Langdon now threatening him on the inside, but Lee Adams is doing this one comfortably. He is the former World Under-21 solo champion, and as we've already told you, back-to-back national champion. Yellow flag now on display. There's 1 lap to go, and Lee Adams is going further ahead. This guy is all class. Sean Wilson is still second for England, and Tony Langdon, the other Aussie, whips in the top 3. Lee Adams now negotiates the top 2 corners for the final time, and Lee Adams keeps it all together. The checkered flag out. The crowd are really enthusiastic. Australia first and third in the first heat. Sean Wilson was second. Race time 59.3. Point score, Australia 4. Obviously the UK 2. An outstanding performance from Lee Adams. Welcome back to the magnificent Sydney Showground venue for the first test between Australia and Great Britain. Nice to have your company wherever you might be watching, and how good it is to see legitimate international test match racing back at this famous venue. Jason Lyons for Australia in the red helmet colour. Jason Crump for Australia in the blue helmet colour. Joe Screen, the English captain, in white. And over on the inside, the pocket rocket, Stevie Schofield in yellow-black. He got a great start, Schofield. He rides for Poole in the British League. His captain now, Joe Screen, goes looking down on the inside. And the 2 Great Britain riders have certainly pinched a big break early in proceedings. Jason Lyons for Australia is best of the rest, back in third. And young Jason Crump, the son of 4 times national champion Phil Crump, is fourth. Have a look at Joe Screen working away at the inside here on Steve Schofield. Schofield certainly not going to surrender easily, though. He is 34 years of age, and he's one of the best British riders that country has produced for many, many years. Schofield, the race leader. Screen is giving him plenty of stick though on the inside line, and the British riders have really come good in this one. Last lap now, yellow flag on display. The Aussies cannot keep up. Jason Lyons is still third, with Jason Crump fourth. A big result here for Great Britain as Stevie Schofield rockets down the back straightaway. Joe Screen, the 21-year-old world junior champion, in second spot, and they are going to do this one in convincing style. Schofield has a peep over the left shoulder and takes a very convincing win. Joe Screen in second, Jason Crump third, got up right on the line. Race time 59.3, and England hit the front in this test match, 7 points to 5 at the end of the second heat. Moving along now to heat number 3, and plenty of talent on display here. Craig Boyce, the reigning New South Wales champion, will ride in the red helmet colour for Australia. Mr. Excitement, Mick Poole in blue. Andy Smith, the reigning British champion, in white. And on the extreme outside is Paul Thorpe in the yellow-black. He is an amazing talent, Paul Thorpe. Racing now, Craig Boyce got the whole shot. When the tapes flew, he was moving forward, and he won the start by about 3 bike lengths. Down the back section, Boyce, a clear-cut race leader. Thorpe now for the Great Britain side, moving down on the inside line, and Mick Poole locked in combat, battling away for third with Andy Smith. Up the main section for the first time, and Craig Boyce looking very good on this racetrack. The surface a little on the slick side, but they're all coming to terms with it fairly quickly. And Boyce, the captain of the Poole Club in the British League during the off-season, is riding for Australia very proudly here tonight. Race leader down the main section one more time. Craig Boyce doing it fairly easily. Paul Thorpe in second. I don't think he's going to move much closer to Craig Boyce. He's got a problem now because Mick Poole now storms down on the inside line. Mick Poole making a big charge as they head down the back straight. Oh, Poole goes wide there and slams a concrete wall, but fortunately he is A-OK. In the meantime though, Craig Boyce negotiates turn 4 for the final time, and Boyce takes a commanding victory. Coming home in second was Paul Thorpe. Mick Poole lucky to stay on 2 wheels. He was third, a very fast time, 58.6, and this test match is tied up at 9 points all. And do you think the crowd here at the showground are not having a good time? The atmosphere here, really something very special. Congratulations to David Lander, the Managing Director of the Parramatta City Raceway in Sydney, who's taken on the Showground project, and great to see this standard of racing back. Jason Lyons and Jason Crump represent Australia here in red and blue respectively. David Norris in yellow and Sean Wilson over on the inside for Great Britain in white. And the two Aussies jump straight to the race lead as they head through turns 1 and 2 the first time round. It's Jason Crump, just 18 years of age, the son of a gun. He's the race leader. Jason Lyons, all the way from Mildura, is really on his hammer though as they negotiate turns 3 and 4. Third is Sean Wilson. Now he is a real trier, Sean Wilson, and he'll fight them all the way to the checkered flag. Jason Crump, noticeable there. He chooses to run up high on the racetrack. Jason Lyons running up on the inside here. This is superb team racing from the Kangaroos, effectively blocking out any inside or outside passing manoeuvres for the Great Britain riders. Jason Crump now greets the yellow flag. 1 lap to go. Lyons is riding shotgun for him. A superb performance here. David Norris is third and best of the rest. He won't improve from there. Jason Crump has a little look over the left shoulder there. He can feel content. It's his teammate Jason Lyons there on his left shoulder as they negotiate the top couple of corners for the final time. A great ride by the Australians. Checkered flag first and second. Crump and Lyons. David Norris in third, 60.2 the racing time. And Australia hit the front, 14 points to 10. And we're coming back to the Sydney Showground on the other side of this break. On Castrol Speed Machine, you're watching the first solo super test between Australia and the British Lions from the Sydney Showground Speedway. And the English team fielding a very strong combination here. Joe Screen, their captain in white, and Steve Schofield in yellow-black will take on Craig Boyce in red and Mick Poole in blue of Australia. They're racing now, tapes of flying, and Craig Boyce, the reigning New South Wales champion, got a great start. Mick Poole searching high, wide and handsome on the racetrack, but now the English captain Joe Screen is giving Craig Boyce a very hard time up on the inside. Now he switches lines and runs around the outside of the circuit, but Craig Boyce is still the race leader. Main straightaway first time round, 2 laps now remaining in this heat. Mick Poole, the other Aussie in the blue helmet colour, is working away now on the back of the English captain Joe Screen. There's the gap though. Craig Boyce opens up a substantial lead, about 15 metres now. Mick Poole's the danger man as far as Joe Screen is concerned. Poole desperately wants to get up into second spot and acquire a couple of very valuable points for Australia. Race leader though, Craig Boyce, with now 1 lap left to run, is doing it fairly easily. Joe Screen washes up high on the racetrack there. Mick Poole is certainly riding with plenty of determination here as he charges down on the inside, but Joe Screen shuts the gate. He switches lines. Craig Boyce comes off turn 4 for the final time. A peek over the shoulder, a will stand to celebrate, and the Aussies finishing 1-3. Boyce first, Joe Screen in second spot, Mick Poole third. Race time 58.2 with the point score 18 points to 12 in favour of Australia. One gets the feeling this test match is now starting to open up. The Aussies looking very good indeed. Heat 6 sees the return of Captain Kangaroo Lee Adams in the red helmet colour. The other Aussie rider is Tony Langdon from Queensland in blue. Andy Smith, one of the most spectacular riders in the world, got a terrible start in the white helmet colour. And the other rider for England is Paul Thorpe in the yellow-black. But Lee Adams is the race leader. There goes Tony Langdon, now the Queenslander, storming up on the inside. And the Aussies are running 1-2 as they near the end of the first racing lap. Paul Thorpe is trying very hard in third spot. But have a look at the Aussies here, will you? Outstanding riding. They are running first and second. Paul Thorpe is having a nightmare. The Englishman trying to find a way between them, around them, inside them. He's not exactly sure what to do, but this is elbow to elbow stuff with Lee Adams leading the event. Tony Langdon doing a superb job down on the inside, and the Aussies are turning it on here at the Showground in no uncertain terms. Last lap now on display. The yellow flag is out. Lee Adams deliberately running up high there. Tony Langdon switching lines and running up on the inside of the racetrack. Thorpe is crawling all over the back of them. Can he find a way through here? A couple of corners left to negotiate. Lee Adams, the race leader for Australia. Langdon safe on the inside there, and another Aussie 1-2 here at the Showground. Great riding. Paul Thorpe in third. Race time 59.9. Point score Australia 23, England 13. The situation here after 6 heats, Australia well on top, leading 23 points to 13 as we now advance to heat number 7. Craig Boyce for Australia will ride in red. Mick Poole for Australia will ride in blue. Sean Wilson in white and David Norris in yellow obviously representing the Great Britain side. Away we go now. Mick Poole over on the inside got a great start. He is called Mr. Excitement in the business. Craig Boyce getting very close together there with Sean Wilson. So the Aussies running 1-2 after negotiating the first half a lap here. Mick Poole washing up very high on the racetrack. Got a lovely style on the machine. Mick Poole, one of the smoothest riders this country has produced in the last decade. He is the race leader. He looks over the left shoulder and he sees his teammate Craig Boyce searching down on the inside line. Sean Wilson, the great British rider, is working away as hard as he can in third spot. I don't know if he'll be able to pass the Aussies though. Mick Poole race leader, Craig Boyce in second spot, Sean Wilson third. Absolutely no change in the order. Boyce having a look up on the inside there now, but the Aussies are running elbow to elbow, 1-2 with 1 lap now remaining in this 7th heat. Mick Poole leader. Up on the inside now goes Craig Boyce, and this is classic team racing. They are absolutely side by side, the Aussie boys. It's Mick Poole though, the race leader. Blue helmet colour. Off turn 4. Another superb performance by the Kangaroos. Sean Wilson flew right on the line, but it was all to no avail. Poole first, Boyce second. Sean Wilson from the UK third. A race time of scintillating 58.6 seconds. Point score. The Aussies lead 28 points to 14, and that is a rather devastating way to go about your business here. Beautiful team riding by the Aussies. Heat 8, Lee Adams in red, the captain of Australia. Tony Langdon in blue from Queensland. Joe Screen in white, the captain of the English side. And Storm and Stevie Schofield over on the inside in the yellow-black helmet colour. Jockey-like figure Steve Schofield. Keep your eye on him. We're racing now. It's Tony Langdon, the Queenslander, that goes straight to the lead. And once again, we see 1-2 to the Aussies as Lee Adams, Captain Courageous, blast by on the outside of Langdon. And they are running 1-2. Schofield and Screen getting very close together on the racetrack there. Schofield makes a mistake, goes up high on the racetrack. He now settles down in third spot. But look at this riding by the Aussies, will you? They are 1-2, elbow to elbow again, and this is what it's all about. They're blocking off any possible inside manoeuvres or outside manoeuvres by the British Lions, and this is very classy stuff. Lee Adams, main straightaway one more time. Yellow flag on display. Tony Langdon, the Queenslander, in second spot. Schofield is close enough to pounce. He needs an opportunity. He's a classy rider, the 34-year-old Englishman, but I don't think he's going to have time. Lee Adams now clearing out. There he is. There's the style of the back-to-back national champion. Off turn 4 for the final time, and another Aussie 1-2 at the Sydney Showground. Steve Schofield in third place for England, race time 60.3, and look at the point score, 33 points to 15. This test match is really starting to open up. Next event now, heat number 9, sees the two Jasons representing Australia. Jason Lyons in red and Jason Crump in blue. Ben Howe, the English reserve, comes into the team to replace Andy Smith. He'll ride in white from the extreme outside, and the other Englishman is Paul Thorpe in yellow. Racing now, well, Ben Howe, the English reserve, got a great start. He got the whole shot from the extreme outside, and I'll tell you what, this is a bit of a surprise. At practice here on Thursday, he was telling me he didn't feel at all comfortable on the racetrack. Well, he's looking comfortable now. Ben Howe is the race leader. Jason Lyons searching high, wide and handsome on the racetrack. Oh, Paul Thorpe moving up dangerously there on the inside. They were touching tyres there, and at the back of the pack, representing Australia is, of course, Jason Crump, who's struggling in this one at the moment. Race leader, though, is Ben Howe for England and doing a fantastic job. Can Jason Lyons, the Australian, who hails from Mildura, he's running in second spot at the moment. Can he close the deficit as they negotiate the main straightaway one more time? The yellow flag is now on display. This has been a powerhouse display by Ben Howe. I don't think Jason Lyons can bridge the deficit at the moment. He's in second spot, the Aussie. I don't think he'll improve from there. Ben Howe, a couple of corners left to negotiate. And I'll tell you what, for the reserve, he's got plenty of class, hasn't he? Ben Howe takes the checkered flag. Jason Lyons in second spot for Australia, and Paul Thorpe third. A good result for the UK. Australia 35, England 19. And at 35 points to 19, Australia might just have an unassailable lead in this, the first solo super test at the Sydney Showground. Heat number 10 now coming your way. The Aussie captain Lee Adams wearing red, Tony Langdon in blue, Sean Wilson in white, and Ben Howe, the English reserve, in yellow. Tapes now fly. Over on the inside, Ben Howe got a good start. Lee Adams has a look over the left shoulder to see that he had time to cross to the inside, and that's exactly what he does, the Mildura flyer. Down the back straightaway, first time round. He already leads now by 5 metres. Ben Howe is best of the rest, back in second, followed by the other Aussie rider, Tony Langdon. who's now going to apply some pressure to Ben Howe. We'll have a look at Lee Adams, a class of the back-to-back national champion and former world under-21 champion. He leads them easily, heading onto the back straightaway for the second time, and Adams has things well and truly under control. There's the style on screen. Lee Adams approaches turns 3 and 4 for another time. He'll see the yellow flag on display this time round. There's one lap of the Sydney Showground to run, and Lee Adams, barring mechanical failure, is in absolutely no danger of defeat. He's running up higher on the racetrack. In fact, the majority of the riders are now looking for more dirt up, scraping the boards. Lee Adams, top couple of corners for the final time. He'll see the checkered flag, and this has been a big win by the Australian captain. Lee Adams down to the checkered flag, defeating Ben Howe in the second spot, followed on the racetrack by Tony Langdon. Race time 59.18 seconds. Australia now taking the ascendancy, 39 points to 21. Big ride by Lee Adams. Congratulations coming thick and fast from Craig Boyce and Mick Poole on his way back to the pit enclosure. Now moving along to heat number 11, the two Jasons representing Australia. Jason Lyons in red, Jason Crump in blue. Joe Screen, the English captain, wearing white, and Steve Schofield, the pocket rocket, the wily old veteran, in the yellow helmet on the extreme outside. Set for a start. Jason Crump over on the inside, bogged down momentarily. He managed to get it all together though, and now challenges Steve Schofield, the English rider, charging right around the outside. A good start by the pocket rocket. And have a look at the English rider go, Steve Schofield. He's 35 years of age. He's fair dinkum only 4 foot tall if he's lucky, but can't he ride a speedway motorcycle? Jason Crump searching up high, wide and handsome. Joe Screen, the reigning world under-21 champion, running third, and now starting to apply plenty of pressure to Jason Crump, the son of a gun. Look at the lead now that Steve Schofield has been able to open up. A good 10 metres on Jason Crump. Joe Screen is still applying plenty of pressure, and Jason Lyons has tailed off and certainly cannot win this one. Yellow flag now on display. There's one circuit off the Sydney Showground left to negotiate in this all-important heat, and the English side are looking for a big result here, a possible 4. Steve Schofield in front, he'll score 3 points. Jason Crump is second, he's looking at 2 possible points, and of course Joe Screen running third for 1 point, with Lyons still tailed off. Crump now making a big run around the outside, but the checkered flag on display, and Steve Schofield emerges victorious. Crump in second, Joe Screen third. Good result for the British Lions. Race time 59.47 seconds. On Castrol Speed Machine, you're watching highlights of the first solo super test between England and Australia at the Sydney Showground Speedway. The first time the nations have clashed at this venue since 1978. Moving along now to heat number 12, representing Australia, Craig Boyce in red and Mick Poole in blue. They'll do battle with Andy Smith in the white helmet colour and Paul Thorpe in yellow. Andy Smith, a real talent, the reigning British Speedway champion. This sport in Australia is enjoying a massive resurgence in popularity. Racing now, Craig Boyce and Paul Thorpe getting very close together there, but it's Mick Poole that takes the race lead for Australia. First time round they negotiate corners 1 and 2. Paul Thorpe involved in a great battle with Craig Boyce. They negotiate the top couple of corners. You're watching the style of Mick Poole, the former New South Wales champion. Craig Boyce up the inside there, off Paul Thorpe, a magnificent inside passing manoeuvre, and the Aussies are running 1-2, thank you very much. Boyce went by on the inside of Thorpe so quickly that Thorpe almost caught pneumonia with the breeze. He fed Fairnick and nearly blew him straight off the motorcycle. Race leader is Mick Poole, Craig Boyce in second. The Aussies are 1-2 to the delight of the huge crowd here at the Showground, relegating Paul Thorpe back to third, and Andy Smith for England can't improve. He's way back in fourth. They negotiate the back straightaway now for the final time, and this has been a classic ride by Mick Poole and lots of determination from Craig Boyce. Aussies 1 and 2 as they come off the top corner for the final time. Checkered flag on display. Vintage Mick Poole. Craig Boyce in second, Paul Thorpe in third. He might have something to say about that. Race time 59.3, and look at the point score. 46 points to 26 in favour of Australia. Next event now coming your way. Magnificent atmosphere here at the Showground. Heat number 13. Jason Lyons in red and Jason Crump in blue. They'll represent Australia. Sean Wilson in the white helmet colour will represent Britain, and on the outside it's David Norris. Racing now, tapes fly, and Jason Crump in the blue helmet colour got a great start. Jason Lyons, his Australian teammate though, is making one heck of a race out of it as they head down the back straightaway first time round. That's Sean Wilson, the British Lion, running third on the inside there, white helmet colour. Look at Sean Wilson up on the inside, and he went by both the Aussies there in one movement. Unbelievable inside passing manoeuvre, and Sean Wilson takes the race lead. lead. Now just watch the style of this young English rider. He crouches right over the top of the handlebars. He looks like he's riding a top fuel motorcycle in drag racing more than a speedway bike. He gets the job done though, looks a little untidy, but what a gutsy rider he is. He'll negotiate the last lap now. Just watch the style of this guy, Sean Wilson, in front. Look at him right over the top of the handlebars. Jason Lyons in second, the Aussie, rides in a more conventional style, sitting upright. Oh, Wilson got out of shape there, off the top corner. This has been a gutsy ride. He puts the right leg up there, expresses his delight, and Sean Wilson, a great win there for the Great Britain team. Jason Lyons in second, Jason Crump in third, the Aussies running second and third. Now time for heat number 14. A couple of terrific riders representing Australia. Craig Boyce in red, Mick Poole in blue. Terrific riders also for Great Britain. Joe Screen in white and Stevie Schofield in yellow. Possibly the best two riders for the British Lions tonight, I've got to say it. A lot of the other English riders haven't fired a shot and they've been very, very disappointing. Mick Poole's form's been outstanding. He has risen to the occasion at the Sydney Showground. Rides captain and number one for Peterborough in Division 2 in the British League. A ton of international experience, and that has certainly shone through tonight. There's the field taking part in heat number 14. We now wait for the tapes to fly and send them on their way on the extreme outside. Craig Boyce got a great start. Steve Schofield also began brilliantly, relegating Mick Poole to third on settling down, followed by Joe Screen, who whips in the foursome. Back straight away first time. It's Craig Boyce, the kangaroo rider, doing a fantastic job out in front, leads by 5 metres. Steve Schofield doing some lawn mowing there, had the left leg dropped on the grass as Mick Poole now pursues him down the main straightaway. 1 lap gone in this 3-lap heat, and Craig Boyce picking up some drive there, lifting the front wheel momentarily. He didn't slow down. If anything, he went a whole lot faster than Moorbank Flyer, and that is the style of Craig Boyce now on screen, keeping it all together. Nicely controlled, heads onto the main straight, yellow flag on display signifying 1 lap to run. Steve Schofield discarding a tear off there in pursuit of the race leader. I don't think he's going to have time, Schofield. Mick Poole now moving a little bit closer to Steve Schofield, but this one is all over bar the shouting. It's Craig Boyce off the top turn for the final time, and he will take a very easy win for the Aussies by a good 20 or 30 metres. Craig Boyce in the end clenches his fist in delight. A good ride, Steve Schofield home in second. Mick Poole finishing up in third spot. Joe Screen failing to finish. Race time 58.77. And look at the score. Australia now leading 53 points to 31. The English side cannot win at this stage of proceedings. Waiting now for the next heat, and some very good riders once again that do battle on the Sydney Showground venue. The most famous of all speedway venues in the nation. You're looking at Tony Langdon from Queensland, number one and captain for the Oxford team in the British League during the European summer. A good field, so it's Lee Adams representing Australia in red, the captain, Tony Langdon in blue, Andy Smith in white, who's been the biggest disappointment here tonight by a long, long way, the reigning British champion, and Paul Thorpe in yellow helmet colour. As we now wait for the start, watch Lee Adams over on the inside. He's been working with Ivan Major. His starts have improved out of sight, and you see another example of the electrifying reflexes on the clutch there of Lee Adams. He takes the race lead. Tony Langdon, the other Aussie, looking up on the inside of the Englishman, doing a pretty good job, Paul Thorpe, at the moment. He's in second and now starting to make a race out of this one, applying plenty of pressure to Lee Adams, but Adams has got the answers when he needs it, and he skips away again up the main straight. Thorpe having a serious look down on the inside, and they're now only separated by about 1 metre. Thorpe actually looking over the left shoulder there for Tony Langdon, but Langdon has dropped off the pace momentarily, even though he is still third and best of the rest. Now rounding off the top corner, they'll see the yellow flag this time round, and this is really a Lee Adams benefit, a Saturday night stroll for Adams, doing a superb job out in front. The Aussie skipper negotiates turn 2 for the final time. Paul Thorpe has dropped off a long way back now. He certainly can't beat Lee Adams on this racetrack. The guy's got it worked out. Looking poetry in motion on the machine. Off turn 4, final time, and a checkered flag for the Aussie skipper in no uncertain terms, doing it easily in the end. Paul Thorpe was second, followed by Tony Langdon. Race time 58.36. Australia 57, England 33. Yes, a devastating display by Australia here at the Sydney Showground. A big crowd on hand. It really has been a terrific promotion by David Lander. As we move along now to the next heat, number 16, Craig Boyce returns for Australia in red, Mick Poole in blue. Sean Wilson, who you saw brilliantly win a heat earlier tonight, will ride in white, and the English reserve Ben Howe steps in the yellow helmet colour, replacing David Norris in this one. Point scores, Australia leading 57 points to 33. Just 3 heats now remaining, and this one is all over at the Showground. It's showtime at the Showground with the Aussies well and truly on top. We now wait for a start. Keep your eyes on Sean Wilson over on the inside in white. Craig Boyce beside him. Tapes fly. Mick Poole got a gun start on the extreme outside. So too did Craig Boyce. In fact, Boyce and also Sean Wilson coming together there. After the first 50 metres, they now settle themselves down, and Craig Boyce is wringing the bike's neck as he accelerates down the back section. He is really in control, a beautifully controlled power slide there, working the 500cc machine to a nicety. Mick Poole in second spot. He's protecting the line so that the English rider Sean Wilson can't make the advantage. Poole constantly looking over his shoulder. He knows exactly where Sean Wilson is, and Wilson's going to need to be Houdini to pull off a passing manoeuvre on Mick Poole. He skates to the outside of the racetrack. Couldn't do it on that occasion, but Craig Boyce, the race leader, doing it comfortably. Mick Poole now getting fairly serious about it, and he's decided to challenge his own teammate, the Aussie Craig Boyce. He now moves up on the inside Mick Poole. Superb team riding. They're almost side by side down the back section the last time round. Sean Wilson's giving it his best shot, let me tell you, but I think the checkered flag will be too close. Boyce, the race leader. There goes Poole on the inside as they approach the checkered flag. Poole got there in the end. Checkered flag on display. A great ride by him, relegating Boyce to second with Sean Wilson in third. Race time 59.37, and the Aussies romp away. Just 2 heats remaining now in this test match between Australia and England. After 16 heats, the Aussies on top, 62 points to 34. And that is a fairly unassailable lead, I'd suggest. Lee Adams will line up in red, Tony Langdon in blue. Representing Australia, Steve Schofield in yellow. Joe Screen in white on the extreme outside. He got a terrible start, Joe Screen. Have a look at the pocket rocket, though. Stevie Schofield, the British Lion. He takes the race lead on settling down. That's Captain Kangaroo. Lee Adams storming right around the outside in the red helmet colour. Oh, Adams bites the dust. He goes down very heavily here at the Sydney Showground. He got too close to Steve Schofield there. We'll pick up the Castrol Liquid Engineering replay for you. Watch it here. Just the front wheel of Adams' machine tipping into the back of Stevie Schofield's bike. A nasty one, but Lee Adams emerging relatively unscathed. Could have been a very nasty one indeed. And Lee Adams is up and quite okay and receiving a huge applause here from the Sydney Showground crowd. He has been nothing less than sensational here tonight. Race restart now, which means Tony Langdon in the blue helmet colour will face the 2 English riders all on his lonesome. Can he do it? Tony Langdon, the Queenslander, he goes to the race lead through the first couple of corners first time round. It's Stevie Schofield, the Great Britain rider, in second spot, riding in the yellow helmet colour, and Joe Screen is third, also representing Great Britain. Well, the race leader Tony Langdon doing a superb job here. It's 1 against 2, and the Aussie is on top for the time being. In fact, Tony Langdon in total control of this event. Steve Schofield in second spot for Great Britain. He won't give up without a fight, you can be rest assured. Here they come, the handlebar heroes, back straight away at the Sydney Showground. Tony Langdon might just have an unassailable lead here. Schofield charging down on the inside line. Now we see the yellow flag on display. There's 1 lap to go. Schofield did move a lot closer there to Tony Langdon. The huge crowd here at the Showground are really pumped up behind the Aussie boy, the lone Aussie Tony Langdon, who's taking on the best that Britain can offer here. And Langdon negotiates the top couple of corners for the final time. A great result for Tony Langdon. Checkered flag out, and the crowd have gone berserk here at the Showground. The boys beaten 2 of them. Schofield in second, Joe Screen third. Race time 59.6, and the score Australia 65, Great Britain 37, and it's all over at the Showground with 1 heat remaining. The British side certainly cannot win, that's quite obvious. Last heat, Jason Lyons in red, Jason Crump in blue. The English reserve, Ben Howe, will ride in the white helmet colour, and of course the other rider representing Great Britain is Paul Thorpe in the yellow-black helmet colour. Oh, Paul Thorpe there, the race leader, picked up some drive. He must have hit a rut and the bike took off, but he still maintains the race lead. Jason Crump now searching right around the outside of the Australian rider. He has got more talent, this kid, than most riders you'd see come along in a long, long time. Just 18 years of age, topped the British League Division 2 point score last season, and he has a very big future. Can he get by on the inside or the outside of Paul Thorpe? England are running 1 and 3. It's Jason Crump, the Aussie in the blue helmet colour. You're watching him there. He separates them. Race leader though, Paul Thorpe, looking very good on the machine. He has been one of Britain's better riders here tonight. I've got to say it, a couple of them have been very disappointing. Jason Lyons now, the other Aussie, goes searching down on the inside line and picks up another point for Australia. Paul Thorpe, the race leader though, off turn 4. Crump is second for Australia, and third is Jason Lyons. It's been a good ride by Lyons. They come down and take the checkered flag, and Australia at the end of 18 heats comfortably win this test match 68 points to 40, with Paul Thorpe winning the 18th and final heat. Well, Lee, I guess you could say you experienced the best and worst of Speedway all on the one night, captaining your country to a great victory, but a nasty tumble in your last heat.
Yeah, that's right. I just got a bit mixed up in my last heat and probably trying a little bit too hard, although Steve Schofield, I thought he was going to head for the outside, going down the back straight, and he didn't. He went for the inside, and I just was too close to him. He just I clipped his back wheel and just went over. But that's racing. We got up okay, unscathed, and we were back into it, so it's good.
68 points to 40, that's a trouncing in real terms. A little easier than you thought, perhaps?
I think the boys are getting used to the big tracks. They're sort of, and are probably a little bit rusty at that, so I think it's going to get a lot harder than that. But, the boys did fantastic. I think everyone's very, very happy.
This was your first meeting on this marvellous venue. What was it like racing out there before a capacity crowd?
It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it, the crowd, and everyone was very enthused, which is fantastic for Australian supporters. It's really good to see. I just hope we can see more of them.
All right, let's check the way the riders scored in tonight's 60th anniversary test match. Top scoring for Australia, Lee Adams and Craig Boyce equal on 15 points, Langdon on 10. For England, Sean Wilson scoring 7. Steve Schofield, the top point scorer for them with 11, and Paul Thorpe for 10. Schofield certainly the standout man there, but good performances particularly by all the Australians, which the scoreline indicates. Yes, indeed, Lee Adams, a very happy captain of the Australian Kangaroo team, trouncing the British Lions here at the Sydney Showground Speedway in the all-important first test. 68 points to 40, perhaps a little easier for the Kangaroos than most people thought. Until next time on Castrol Speed Machine, it's good night from the Sydney Showground.